welcome everyone to a crown jewel event. The 8th HTL Brickyard 400 sits before us. And we're glad that you're with us here for HTL on ABN. 100 laps, 400 kilometers, one goal, and that's to kiss the bricks here in Indianapolis. We are glad you're with us here for HTL and ABN Mondays. Let's get started. Going to be a fun race to have here in Indianapolis. We are so glad that you can be with us for this event. Before we get started, a huge shout out to some of our wonderful Patreon subscribers, our Premier Tier subs. Thank you all for all the support you've given us so far. Trade Up Slogan, Dogman2935, Eli Sasick, Jason Scott, Alfred Denny, Weekend Hobby 22, Philip Snipes, Tyler Head, B-Dogs, Colin McDonough, Blue, KJ Gibney, J-Paw, Jake Potak, June, supporting us all the way through ABN's 8-year anniversary just last night. Appreciate all the support you've been giving us. If you want your name shouted out as well or included in the ticker down below, best place to do so is on Patreon itself. QR code on your screen or the description down below if you're watching on YouTube. Now to get started, shout out our Premier Tier subs every week and all of our Patreon subscribers are at the bottom of the screen for every broadcast we do. Appreciate all the support. A wild race set to be on hand here. Let's go ahead and walk through what the standings look like right now. Emily Howell, Bryn Roberts, Pacey Wygant, Caitlin Height, your top four in points entering Indianapolis here. Josh Arnold in fifth, Tucker Sawyer behind Patrick Oberstadt there. They're level 1 points, 251 each. Christina Ryan, top 8, as she has been all season so far. Mo Perry, Dustin Hall, Zach Meredith, and Eli Sasick, their top 12 here. Caitlin Height missing 2 races, Talladega and Circuit of the Americas. She's a 3-time winner here at Indianapolis, though. Can she go and find a 4th win here at the Brickyard? We'll find out. Josh Arnold, also a winner here from Indianapolis, his first career HTL win here at this 2.5-mile racetrack. So some drivers looking for some pace, looking for opportunities to break through either once again or for the first time here at Indianapolis. Zach Apperson, Byron Jones, Bobby Blowers, Steven Oberstadt, they're currently on the right side of that playoff conversation. The top 16 is where you need to be by the time we get through Charlotte in a little under 2 months. Brady Smith, Blake Henderson, Mirabella Viscali just on the wrong side of that, trying to get in. Rudy Valentin, highlighted in red, he is not playoff eligible as a part-time driver. That being said, 2 road course races in, 174 points, and he's going to be present in Nashville next week. Alfred Denny, Derek Miller, John Matthews, Elias Flores, round out your top 24. And the seat gets hotter the further down you go here. James Wright, Bailey Thompson, Philip Snipes, Martin Roberg, Hunter Whitlock, Dale Markowski, your top 30. All of them need to get a move on here. Was set with 8 races to go before the playoffs begin. Hunter Peach in 31st. He is present tonight in that number 50 car. Let's see what he can do from 31st in points here. He finished runner-up here last season. DJ Trout, Nick Pressey, they have a lot of work to do. DJ Trout joined part-time, now racing the majority of the season. Nick Pressey, though, he's been a part of every race. 33rd, DNF'd early in the Circuit of the Americas a week ago. Dropped more positions in the points, made the wrong direction. He's going to need to have a big course correction here tonight, and it's going to be difficult to make passes happen here when you need to make it happen the most. Jason Scott in 34th, Richard Odie, Gary Donaldson, your top 36. And then look at drivers that are not racing full-time. Marcus Chafin, Blue Jade, Olivia Pereira, Josh Susi, Kevin Gibney Jr., Casey Ellis, David Smith Jr., Ruby Nekomata. Austin Mongold's in this list. DJ Anderson is on this list. Lily Frazier. A lot of big names here. Jaylord Philpott, June Jimenez, Malachi Tracy, Mark Parker, Shad Swatsworth, Tristan Bayer, and Carson Lucas, all in that conversation of drivers that have been part-time and not really playoff eligible. They all really, realistically, should be in red here. Less than 4 minutes until we get into qualifying here, and it is all super, super important to get it right. We talk about him. Josh Arnold is the man that is a part of our focus. He is not on the racetrack at the moment, but he is someone that we're looking at with interest here at Indianapolis. His win, his first career win, came here at the Brickyard 400. Helped punch his ticket into the playoffs that season. He has since grabbed 2 more wins. He won in season 6. Then he won 2 races last season, season 7. Still looking for that first breakthrough win in season 8. We'll see if he can do that here tonight. His average running position, 14th. Not a bad number. He'll try to improve on that, though, here tonight. And 125 passes. That's going to be a big number. Not many jumps to be made on that number in this race tonight with how things have been set. Also a huge jump. Betting odds here. Caitlin Height, 3-time winner, looking to be a 4-time winner. Odds-on favorite. Emily Howe, your points leader, not far away. Dustin Hawley, former winner of this race from season 1. Hunter Peach, runner-up last season. Pacey Wygen also in the conversation. Blake Henderson, season 2, Brickyard 400 race winner. And then Eli Sasek, Tucker Sawyer, your new ABN World Champion, former ABN World Champion, Christina Ryan, and then Josh Arnold on that top 10 list for the betting odds presented by ABN Sportsbook. Times continue to tick down here. Again, we are glad you are with us. We are also glad to present for the first HTL race our newest sponsor with Advanced, our official drink supplement provider of ABN Studios and ABN Sports. 10% off if you head to Advanced on every order you order. ABN Studios can help take 10% off of that. They've been helping us a ton. Obviously, we talked about the pancreatic cancer battle that I've been going through since October. They helped a ton, whether it's been with trying to get more sleep, recovering from radiation and chemotherapy treatments. Focus, a lot of focus needed for this. They've helped a lot on that front as well. They've got supplements that cover everything: focus, sleep, pure hydration, energy, everything across the board. So if you're struggling with any of that, give them a shot. They helped me out a significant ton, and I didn't think I'd get a lot of help from anything. Went through a lot of different ideas, different options to try to find something that worked, and we are very appreciative that they've hopped on board for us here after helping me out for months. Less than a minute to go here until qualifying begins. In qualifying, typically we breeze through it. We talk during it. This is an important qualifying session. Passing will not be easy. As you see Pacey Wygen go for a wild ride in turn 1 before resetting. This will not be an easy race for really anybody in that conversation. You have to qualify well to make things happen, because these passes are going to be so difficult. The dirty air is going to be so radical here. These cars carrying a lot of mid-corner speed, making that passing difficult on top of the dirty air that these cars provide with the flat floor in the diffuser. So everyone has to hit their marks from the drop of the green flag in qualifying. It's not just hitting your marks in the race, it's hitting it in qualifying, because qualifying will dictate really whether or not you're going to be challenging for a race win or conducting damage limitation during the race tonight. It's going to be a huge, 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 huge moment. Ten minutes now on the clock for qualifying. See who all goes out first. Looks like it might be Emily Howe. No, it'll be Mo Perry. A little bit of latency there for him, so we will go ahead and pivot to Emily Howe with the latency being an issue there for Mo Perry. On board here with Emily Howe, your points leader. Mo Perry, first one on the racetrack, but latency issues. Not sure if that's going to let us really watch him there. He just started a lap time. Emily Howe will be second across the line. See what the lap time looks like here. Only one lap for everybody, trying to set a qualifying time. Really iffy for 3 and 4 there. North side of the racetrack. This is a north-south racetrack with turns 1 and 2 being in the south. First time on the board is that of Mo Perry. Viscali and Howe set to join the timing. Strain. Viscali not on pole position. Emily Howe does go with a 51.3. Tucker Sawyer completing a lap time here. He was fast in practice. Let's see if that translates into race pace. Josh Arnold, slowest of the bunch so far. That's at early lap times here in qualifying. Sawyer goes top of the board by almost 0.2. 51.1. There's your wake-up call. Trout goes third. Derek Miller, podium finisher last time out in Austin. Trying to keep the good vibes rolling here. This is not going to be a fast lap. You can tell by turn 1, the way he came off the apex of the corner for turn 1. Gives pause. Derek Miller coming across our finish line. 7 a set lap time so far. James Wright, slowest of the bunch, and it's not close. For the 14, Derek Miller, where does he sit? A little bit closer to the front side of the field. 4th fastest for the 18 car for NFG Motorsports. Caitlin Height, 3-time winner here in the HTL Brickyard 400. Season 3, Season 5, and then last season, Season 7. The only crown jewel race she has not yet won, the Southern 500, which opens up the playoffs. But she has conquered the Brickyard here quite a lot. Looking to do so for a 4th time, but the mountain seems to have gotten a little bit taller, at least through qualifying. Caitlin Height begins a lap now. Former world champion Nick Pressey on the track as well. Zach Meredith, former HTL Cup Series champion, on the board right now. Meredith goes 3rd. So both the Militia Racing Team cars showing a little bit of fight. Meredith showing a little bit more pace than Arnold, but also went out later. Pressey goes front row in the 20. What is Caitlin Height going to give here in the 13? Can she get to the front of the field, or will she be settling for row 2 or 3? Hunter Peach on the racetrack now. Flores just completed a lap time. Good enough for 10th. Brady Smith goes 10th. Caitlin Height. Does she out-qualify her teammate? No, 6th. Not a bad place to be if more cars don't go faster. Hunter Peach, the reigning HTL Cup Series champion, on the racetrack here. Let's see what he can do. Alfred Denny on the racetrack. June Jimenez in the 11s for Sablier Racing. Also on the racetrack. Hunter Peach. This is his lap beginning. Jason Scott completing his lap. Alfred Denny will be next on that list as well. Only 2 turns, 1 and 2. We talk about the weather, and it's for good reason. This track very sensitive when it comes to not only track temperature, but wind. Wind is a huge factor too. 103 the track temp, not great. Not a lot of wind though. The wind's the easiest it's been so far tonight. So we'll see how that shakes out. Hunter Beach coming across our finish line. 51.3 puts him 6th, right there with Caitlin Height. Blake Anderson, another former winner here of the Brickyard, on the racetrack now. Let's see what he can do. Had to really feather the throttle there. This is a warm-up lap. Whoa! And a tag of the fence for the 25. He will reset. He's got time to do so. But not a good start there. 20 drivers have set lap times so far. Tucker Sawyer, the reigning ABN World Champion. And Nick Cressy, another former ABN World Champion. No surprise. The open wheel aces have got it pretty well figured out here. The top 3, all former ABN World Champions. Tucker Sawyer, Nick Cressy, Emily Howe. Of the 3, Pressy's the only one to win an Arrowhead 500. Christina Ryan starting a qualifying run here as Henderson warms back up and tries his for a second time. Christina Ryan, not the most emphatic when it comes to this race. Pretty let down by pace in practice. We'll see if qualifying bears any fruit. Dustin Hall, the first Brickyard 400 winner here in HTL, on the racetrack as well. Christina and Dustin will complete their laps at about the same time. We'll follow Christina Ryan because she is the first one of the 2 that will cross the finish line. Wygent goes 3rd fastest. Christina Ryan, not a bad qualifying lap time. That's a good top 10 run. 51.329. What about Dustin Hall? Goes right there with top 4 for Dustin Hall. There he is, 51.2. Henderson completing a lap time now. Where does he go? 51.1. 51.2, well, corrected by about a 10th. But it looked really sharp. Eli Sasek goes top of the board. A lot of gunners coming in late. Henderson being one of them. No one on the racetrack as time expires. Everyone left it late here. Warm-up begins here shortly. Reminder for what everyone is looking at right now. 100 laps, stages in laps 30 and 60. 9.2 degrees of banking in all four corners, but they're going to feel very different because of how this track is shaped. The wind will come down. It'll make it difficult in turns 1 and 2. It'll make 3 and 4 easier. It's a headwind in turn 3. It's a tailwind in turn 1. Kalen Height, 3-time winner. The most recent winner as well. The Team Conti 400 next week in Nashville, as the month of August is pretty jam-packed. Nashville, Michigan, Florida, with Homestead Miami Speedway, New Hampshire, and then back to Florida for the Firecracker 400 to end out the month in 5 weeks. We're going to step aside and get ourselves refreshed and ready to go here. So enjoy the sights and sounds of the Brickyard for the last 3 minutes. When we come back, we're starting grid time for the HTL Brickyard 400. Stay with us here for HTL on ABN. It is time for us to go over the starting grid here for the HTL Brickyard 400. Before we do that, again, a reminder of the points going into this event. Emily Howe, top of the board. Bryn Roberts not present tonight once again, so that gap will expand. Pacey Wygant, a prime opportunity to try to take second place away here in Indy. Caitlin Height, three-time winner of this race, sits fourth in points. Josh Arnold, another former winner, sits in fifth. If you're top 8, you're not doing too bad, but you'll want to do better, and tonight's a good opportunity to do so. We'll see how that stands. If you're on the wrong side of 16th, you've got some work to do beginning tonight, and it will not get easier. Nashville coming up here in 7 days' time, another tire eater as the concrete jungle awaits next Monday. And the field begins to roll off. As you see some of the drivers on the hot seat entering tonight's race. Here's the starting grid. Eli Sassick, Tucker Sawyer, teammates for Ascent Racing lock out the front row here at the Brickyard. They've never done it in an ABN World Championship competition. They do it here with them on the front row. Patrick Oberstadt, Nick Pressey in row number 2. Oberstadt doing a pretty good job there, qualifying third ahead of the 20, who needs a good race, has DNF'd 3 of the last 4 here in HTL. Pacey Wygant, Blake Henderson make up row 3, one of Henderson's best qualifying efforts. Let's see how he holds on. He is on the outside, though, for this opening start of the race. Dustin Hall, the original Brickyard 400 race winner, inside row 4 alongside Bobby Flowers. Emily Howe, Christina Ryan in row 5. The roommates, the friends, they'll be adversaries in row 5. Zach Meredith, DJ Trout, row 6 is where they line up for the start of this race. John Matthews, Byron Jones, they qualified row 7, 13th and 14th on the grid. Hunter Peach and Caitlin Height in row 8, not where either of them wanted to be. They finished first and second in the race last season. And it'll be difficult to come through that part of the field. It'll be no man's land, at least for the beginning part of this race. Row 9, Derek Miller and Stephen Oberstadt, they make up that row. The top 20 is rounded out by Zach Apperson and Dale Markowski, filling in for Bryn Roberts in that number 8 machine tonight. Mo Perry, Mirabella Viscali in row 11. Viscali loathing missing out on qualifying, starting 22nd tonight. Perry also calls Indianapolis home racetrack here, starting outside the top 20 as well. Both of them are hoping for better going into this event. Bailey Thompson, June Jimenez in row 12. Jimenez's first start at the Brickyard at HTL Cup Series competition, having raced just Tuesday for the first time in HTL at the Brickyard altogether in the Challenger Series. Josh Arnold will have to do a lot of soul searching from 25th on the grid. Malachi Tracy in the 35 car, 26th on the grid. Olivia Pereira and Brady Smith will make up row 14 together, 27th and 28th. Row 15, this is your top 30, rounded out by Elias Flores and Alfred Denny. Jason Scott and James Wright in row 16, near the back of the field. There are 37 cars in this race. Philip Snipes, Richard Odie in row 17. Row 18, Blue Jade and Gary Donaldson did not set qualifying laps during the qualifying session. Casey Ellis will round out the back of the field in the number 5 machine for Orlando Outlaws. This is what the drivers are dealing with. 670 horsepower, a 4-inch spoiler, a rear diffuser that has been controversial. Some will call it ineffective for races like this. It has contributed to what people are about to experience, and that is desperation and frustration here at the original World Playground for Motorsports. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway opened in 1909, hosted the first Indianapolis 500, back then called the Sweepstakes, in 1911. Symmetrical body, not a lot of drag being produced by these cars. will make it difficult all the way through. The pace car takes the left-hand turn into pit lane. It's an ascent front row. Sasek and Sawyer at the front of the field. 37 looking to play chase. It's time to get underway. The HTL Brickyard 400 is green. Trouble early. Apperson and Oberstadt. And that is our first caution early. More trouble. That's Pereira. For those that missed it, we had the race preview on Patreon earlier this afternoon. We expected cautions to be on these starts and restarts. And indeed, that's exactly what happened. And it started with Zach Apperson and Steven Oberstadt, who were in row 10. Apperson trying to get that car back and rolling and can't. And this is what happened. And that's teammate help, is what that is. That's not Apperson's fault. Bailey Thompson, the 27, just right hooks Apperson. You see where Pereira gets turned off the back of June Jimenez. But that's where Apperson and Oberstadt got a piece of it. We'll take another look here. And I'd like to actually zoom back to the green flag if we can. Because that's a huge overrun going into this. On board with Bailey Thompson. Third start tonight, and it's over on the opening lap. Just ran right through him. That's difficult. Let's right on board with Apperson. From the initial start. 126th start tonight for him. Markowski there to his outside. The inside lane gets a pretty good roll, but Apperson gets a huge shot here. That's off of Derek Miller, the 18. And that's just tough. That's heartbreaking. To not really have a chance to even try to race it out here. And I do want to see what happened to Olivia Pereira here, if we can. That's right on board with the 96. I don't think Pereira gets hit. Pereira just slides to a stop, it looks like there. Not bad. Just trying to avoid things. Jimenez was closer to the epicenter of that crash with Apperson and Oberstadt and just moved down a little bit. Part of that checkup there. You can see the cars on pit lane, of which are multiple. Apperson and Thompson on pit lane as well. As the field begins to roll down the front straightaway. Well, Perry's going to get away from around here because he pit lane started this race. And the caution came out before he can even come out of pit lane. So he will now join the field. And to get back on the lead lap there. So trouble early. Steven Oberstadt's day is done on lap 1. Sasek and Sawyer once again front of the field as we get ready to go racing. Initial start, a wash. Let's see how this restart goes. As the pace car pulls in. Down the front straightaway we come. Through the restart zone. Away we go. Green flag flies once again. Through 3 and 4 for the first time at speed. Sasek and Sawyer first and second. Oberstadt third. Pacey Wygant trying to get around Pressey for fourth. Pressey being freight trained at the moment. Dustin Hall trying to get through. So is Blake Henderson. So is Emily Howe. Emily Howe gets to the inside of Henderson. And so hiccups early. The Ascent cars lead first, second, and fourth. Almost 3 wide. Blowers in the 34. Looks very far to the outside lane there. Pressey not helping Hal. Not using that alliance in play yet. Here comes Blowers to the inside lane. Pressey trying to hold on to position, but we'll lose a couple. We'll lose out to Henderson. We'll lose out to Howe. And might lose more. He has not had the start he wanted as Dustin Hall gets around Pacey Wygant maybe. They'll battle side by side through 3 and 4. Patrick Oberstadt trying to help his teammate out. Entering turn 1, I think Dustin Hall should have a good chance at it. Christina Ryan blocking Byron Jones, it looked like. Nope, blocking DJ Trout. Pressey in a lot of trouble. That 20 car looks like it's got an anchor attached to the back of it. The way he is just plummeted out of the top 10. Hip check, the 31 of Trout. That's Caitlin Hyde, the blue and silver 13 car, trying to move forward. Didn't qualify well in this race. So Pressey, who started this race in the top 4, down to 12th. And I would say he's still not safe right now. There's a lot of cars in that conversation that want to get around him. Teammates first and second. Going to try to play this team game like they did in Talladega 2 weeks ago. Worked out really well for him. Got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there in Alabama. Patrick Oberstadt sitting in third. Looking good early on here. Side by side, Howell and Henderson. And Howell's not going to have the help there. Bobby Blowers trying to use the outside lane to go through. Emily Howell's not going to appreciate that at all. That's going to be interesting to follow along with. Caution's out. Jason Scott back to the field. A little bit of damage on the driver's side, the left front. Oh, that car's crab walking. It's some suspension damage for sure on the 91 machine. What happened to the 91? Turn 1. This is Viscali. Jason, that's hard. We'll have to go and take a second look at that. Viscali has enough of an overlap that Jason Scott should probably be aware that he's not clear there. Not a lot of like impact there. The left front's going to be a problem. For it to be as skewed as it was is a bit surprising to me. So let's take a look here. All right, so this is a little bit more straightforward. So Viscali's not quite there as they begin entering the corner. So you begin committing your line to the corner. Viscali's a little bit lower, but not side by side. And just sends it in deeper. And Jason Scott's trying to take a more natural approach to it. And Viscali, to her credit, she makes the corner. But Jason Scott and the 91 team will be saying, well, I was committed to the corner, and she wasn't there yet. So it'll be interesting to see how that is viewed at the end of the race. A lot of cars coming down pit lane. An early stop here. As we sit under caution. Once again. We'll explain that in the live chat. We explained this on Patreon for the race preview tonight. The contact there between Mirabella Viscali and Jason Scott. You'll see a lot of that tonight. We saw a decent amount of it last season. That's why we had 12 cautions last season. This is caution number 2. that are on right now. 12 cautions last season because it is so difficult to pass. This race, notoriously, is difficult to pass. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, not built for stock cars, has not really ever been curated to make stock car racing easy. These cars have been updated. These cars have more, they produce more dirty air. They produce more lateral grip. So it's a lot easier to hold the bottom of the racetrack. Desperation will be plentiful in this race tonight. If you're in the top 10, you're trying to hold it. If you're not in the top 10, you're trying to get there. We're in a format where every point matters to try to get into the chase or try to get into the playoffs here in the HTL Cup Series. 2 cars out, Apperson and Oberstadt. 35 remain. And all of them are on the lead lap with a chance. Philip Snipes topped off with fuel. Sasek and Sawyer, front of the field. Oberstadt, Wygant, row 2. Dustin Hall, Blake Henderson, row 3. Zach Meredith, Christina Ryan, row 4. Caitlin Height, Nick Cressy, row 5. That's how your top 10 lines up for this restart. As we get ready to go back racing here. Second restart coming up. The green flag flies and away we go. Tucker Sawyer asleep on that restart. I don't know if that was by design or not. It's now a 1, 2, 3 for Ascent. That's going to make life difficult for everyone behind. Patrick Oberstadt, Blake Henderson, Dustin Hall, top 6. They're going to have their hands full. Caitlin Height already up and into the top 7, getting clear of Christina Ryan. Christina Ryan sitting in 8th, ahead of Zach Meredith. Cressy back up into 10th because of some of the pit stops made here on that second caution. Everyone from DJ Trout in 18th on down came down pit lane during that second yellow. Everyone getting settled back into a rhythm. If we get a long green flag run, it'll look a lot like this throughout the entire green flag run. Not many passes will be happening. A 11 lap offset between those that came down pit lane on lap 11 and those that have stayed out so far. Looking at stage points at the end of lap 30, stage 1. think Henderson's in a pretty good spot at the moment, the 25. Dustin Hall in 6th, under pressure from Caitlin Height. Trouble, Pereira, inside fence. And I think Pereira got turned. Significant trouble for Pereira, the Akron native. Had significant contact made. That is Apperson back out on the racetrack in the 4, going through there. What happened to Pereira? Huge checkup and contact there with John Matthews. Little double dose there on lap 17. Back up front. Live pictures. Eli Sasek leads the way. Wygent not nearly as quick as his teammates there. Struggling to maintain the same pace that Tucker Sawyer did. Hunter Peach looking to get around. Nick Pressey, teammates there for NFG Motorsports, the defending champion of the series, moves up to 10th. On board with Emily Howell. Let's see what she's dealing with right now. See if we can close in on Mo Perry, the 97, just up the road. That is Viscali that we can see on the bottom lane. Looking side by side against, I believe that is John Matthews. And here we go. Sorry, it's against Elias Flores. A little bit of contact there between the two. A little close there, contact, and a little bit of a shove to the wall for Flores. Viscali was done dealing with it. Rolls through right now. Looks like Flores got away with that wall tap without any damage, which is thankfully the case, because you don't get away with those very often. Viscali up to 13th place, trying to chase down now the Ada Dale Markowski. Further afield, up the running order. Wygent and Sawyer maintain second and third, allowing Sasek that have second advantage. And there's not a whole lot Patrick Oberstadt or Blake Henderson can do at the moment. We talked about the race preview a lot, but that was our way of sort of giving everyone a heads up of like, hey, this race was going to be difficult. including lap 22, lap 23 now underway. Passing has always been difficult, but this is a different level. And the teams became more aware of the issue on Wednesday. Unfortunately, all you can do at that point is just prepare. Prepare and grit your teeth through it. In Ascent, they qualified well. 3 in the top 6. They're trying to put themselves in this position. Not many wanting to rock the boat really either. Henderson's going to go after Patrick Oberstadt here and try to make a claim for that 4th spot. He's got a quick car, the 25 machine. But is it good enough to try to get around somebody right now? I don't think it is. Oberstadt defending using the outside lane. That'll be Carmen. But Henderson knows he's quicker. Caitlin Heights in this group of 7. In 7th. Christina Ryan in 8th. Is trying to manage the gap. Malachi Tracy down on pit lane. Is this a standard pit stop? It looks like it. Tracy on pit lane early, lap 24. Not worried about stage points at all. So why not come down pit lane early, try to use an undercut strategy to make up spots and get out of dirty air maybe. Tracy goes a lap down. But again, not unexpected here. Expect more from the back of the field coming down pit lane just a little bit early here to try to leapfrog and get some positions here. Knowing now, having seen it in action with the full field, seeing how difficult passing is, the undercut strategy will be super important tonight. We talk about undercut versus overcut for those that are new. Undercut, you come down pit lane early. You're undercutting your opponents by coming up pit lane, getting fresh tires. You're trying to leapfrog them by coming down and making that move first. Overcutting is the intentional design of staying out a little bit longer. You're hoping that the fuel load is light enough that you can maintain a high pace or get clean air to benefit from that and to come back out and stay in the position that you're in, or in some cases, mostly in road courses, try to leapfrog by going longer. Heavy blocking Christina Ryan on Hunter Peach. Christina Ryan really not wanting to give up that 8th spot. Even though she's not really able to keep pace with Caitlin Height at the moment. Tracy leading pit lane. He came down pit lane. Looks like there was some damage that needed to be repaired because he's back out on the race. He's getting back on the racetrack now, but he's gone multiple laps down. Get to that white line. And now it can accelerate again. Tracy 3 laps down. Top 7 spread out just a little bit as Wygant opens his gap to Tucker Sawyer. Christina Ryan really using the champ car strategy here, trying to break the draft. But here comes Peach on the outside lane. I think Peach has got it. Christina Ryan just does not have the pace right now to really withstand that pressure for too long. And indeed, Peach did get clear. Peach in the outside lane made it happen. Blowers, huge trouble. And he did make it down to pit lane, but a huge hit against the inside wall. I don't know if he was planning on coming down pit lane anyway, but now that he is, he'll be in pit lane for a hot minute. My goodness. What happened here to Bobby Blowers from high above? Did he get hip checked? No. He just was way too trigger happy out of turn 4 and paid for it. Mo Perry was who he made contact with. That's a painful shot. And he is now pit lane, and he's going to go a lap down easily, if not more. And that's not surprising with that hard hit to the inside wall out of turn 4. Sasek, Wygant, Sawyer, they're going to try to go as long as possible here. There are concerns about that first pit stop because it is going to be tricky trying to do it at speed. It'll be easier for Sasek at the front of the field because there's no one in front of him. For Wygant and Sawyer, they can be pressured into a mistake coming down pit lane. As they come around to the white flag in stage number 1. Car down pit lane, Viscali was not top 10 in the running order, so not a lot being given up there. Looking for an undercut to try to get into the top 10. We'll see if it works out. Sasek looking for a stage win. Would help him pretty significantly in the points situation. Likewise, it would help Henderson a lot. We talked to Henderson earlier, getting ready for this race. He was looking for stage points. Of those on the fringe, he had the least amount of stage points of anybody in that conversation to try to make the cut line. His focus, get some stage points. A good result would be helpful. Last season, he finished 20th here. But stage points is a good starting point. Markowski down pit lane. The top 10 score stage points like so. Eli Sasek with 10 points. Casey Wygant with 9 points. Tucker Sawyer with 8. Patrick Oberstadt with 7. Blake Henderson with 6. Dustin Hall with 5. Caitlin Height with 4. Hunter Peach with 3. Christina Ryan with 2. And Zach Meredith with 1 in stage 1. Stage 2 now underway to the end of lap 60. We beat a dead horse so many times, but for those that are new watching along, there are no stage breaks. And in comes Sasek on cue, as does Patrick Oberstadt, Dustin Hall, Christina Ryan, Elias Flores. It looks like others coming down pit lane as well. Bailey Thompson comes down pit lane. So Wygant out in front, Sawyer, Henderson, Height. Your top 4, Peach in 5th. A little bit more spread out this top 5 means that there's a little bit more clean air to play with. Should hopefully improve some people's pace here. And they're going to need it for this end lap when they come down pit lane. Who all comes down this go around? Wygant and Sawyer come down pit lane. Blake Henderson is going to find himself at the lead once again. Trouble, no, trouble. Wygant in trouble. Caution's out. Caution is out. Wygant spun coming to pit lane. And everyone that was coming down pit lane is trapped. Caitlin Height was one of them. And has to take service here. That is painful. James Wright had to come down pit lane. He was actually on pit lane already. He's leaving pit lane now. That helps out Blake Henderson quite a hefty amount. This will reset the way things sit on pit lane. It will not change too awful much. Actually, I'm not quite so sure. I think this is actually bad news for Henderson looking at it now, because there was a decent chunk of cars that had come down pit lane. Eli Sasek, Tucker Sawyer, Caitlin Height, Patrick Oberstadt, Dustin Hall, Christina Ryan, Elias Flores, Mira Viscali, Dale Markowski, Bailey Thompson. had all come down pit lane just before the caution. Third yellow of the night. And it's the 00, who is out of fuel now. Tucker Sawyer and Caitlin Height made out like bandits there. They beat Eli Sasek off pit lane. So Tucker Sawyer and Caitlin Height will become your race leader here. Wow. So let's take a look at what happened here with Pacey Wygant with pit stops underway. Does he just lock up the rear brakes? I think he might have. He does. He tries to slow down. He tries to hit the brakes a little bit longer because he was going to speed up pit lane. Instead, he spins out to the right, back into traffic there. And the lights, top of your screen, Caitlin Height and Tucker Sawyer had just made the commitment line, which validated their pit stops. So they got free pit stops, and Zach Meredith got really messed up by that. So did Nick Pressey, because they had slowed down because the light went red before they hit the commitment line. Unforced error. Pacey Wygant has thrown at least part of the field into disarray. And so your top five coming to complete lap 34 under caution here. Tucker Sawyer, Caitlin Height, Eli Sasek, Patrick Oberstadt, and Dustin Hall is how they will line up. Christina Ryan posted in the YouTube chat, they usually eat themselves alive. That's an example of what that is. That is a perfect example of what that is. Unforced errors. Throwing them to the deep end. Pacey Wygant was second. Actually was race leader coming into pit lane. Now sits practically outside the top 30. That's a kick to the gut. Bobby Blowers was the free pass recipient during that caution. He got one of his 2 laps back. He is still 1 lap down. James Wright 2 laps down. Malachi Tracy 2 laps down as well, having just gotten the wave round. We saw him ahead of Tucker Sawyer. He just got the wave round to get one of those laps back. So the English driver will be 2 laps down in 35th, but still rolling. Zach Apperson also still rolling. So 36 of the 37 starters are on the racetrack right now. Stephen Oberstadt, the only retirement from the opening lap accident there with Bailey Thompson involved in that. Third restart coming up here. Teammates on the inside lane. 3-time Brickyard 400 winner on the outside lane, leading the way. Let's see how this goes. They got to wait until the restart zone. Marked there against the walls. And here we go. And that worked the way they wanted it to. You do not want Caitlin Height to be around at the moment. Dustin Hall, Caitlin Height, a little bit elbows out there for that third spot. And Dustin Hall gets clear. Dustin Hall looking for second, outside lane. A little brave, a little bold, and that's the way he's going to try to break up this Ascent Racing top two. And I think Caitlin Height's going to help out the one here. If Dustin can't get clear in the turns 1 and 2, this will be interesting. Indeed, he couldn't get clear in 1 and 2. Not a whole lot of love lost between this group. Caitlin right behind. She's going to make it 3 wide. 3 wide for second. Ooh, that's close. Oh, that's so close. No one wants to work with Eli Sasek. He is one of the most unpopular guys right now, and you're seeing it. Caitlin Height also saw a shot to try to go to second place. They have opened up a 1.3 second gap to Tucker Sawyer at the front of the field. He is gone. But Dustin Hall does get clear for second. And now the hunt is on. Caitlin Height, very anti-Ascent Racing, has been for the better part of 4 years. Would love nothing more than a chance to go door-to-door with Eli Sasek again. Because that will get ugly. Thompson and Henderson bound for 10th. Henderson on the right line gets 10th spot away from the 27. Thompson under threat now from Trout. Dustin Hall has a head of steam, 51.6. Fastest lap of the race for the one car. Target has been acquired. Car further back really went down below the white line. Mo Perry. A little bit of latency for the 97 as well. I think he's trying to mostly get out of the way there. Latency for Tucker Sawyer is going to be a concern. Dustin Hall has reeled him in. It was 1.4 seconds. Now it's about 7/10. Side by side, Caitlin Height working around the 9 of Sasek here. Looks like Height might get help from Patrick Oberstadt, who also would like a chance to get around Eli Sasek here. This is for third. Caitlin Height does get clear. Christina Ryan battling with Mirabella Viscali. We saw that pass happen in the background. Ryan down to 7th, Viscali up to 6th. Big moment, Markowski. Off the racing line, single car. It stays green for now. Sasek down to 5th. We talked with Eli this weekend before this race. Was not optimistic was worried about the long run pace once they lost the lead. And in clean air, you can manage things. You have lost control of those variables. Car down pit lane. I believe that's 14 of James Wright, it is, who has been on pit lane for 9 minutes. Make that almost 10 minutes. James Wright was trying to deviate away from the E83 Flying Machine setups that are in the back pocket of Arrowhead Racing. And it has gone about as poorly as it could be, 35th, and 10 laps down. Dustin Hall's caught up to Tucker Sawyer. The latency is a problem, though, that Dustin's going to have to try to navigate on top of getting around the 90 to begin with. Caitlin Height in third, also now with clean air and the ability to run away. Apperson down pit lane now. We'll see if this is standard service or not. It is standard service for Zach Apperson. Two-car breakaway at the front of the field right now with the reigning ABN World Champion Tucker Sawyer alongside Dustin Hall, the first HTL Brickyard 400 race winner. Pascali working around the 9 of Sasek here. This is for the top 5. Whoa! A little bit of contact. Sasek with a save. We talk about no love lost. People do not love Ascent Racing, and you're seeing them get bullied right now. Uh-oh. Emily Howe, Christina Ryan side by side, and they're causing each other some grief ahead of Blake Henderson because they saw an opportunity there with Sasek now ahead of Flores. 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th on down. All in this group. Sasek is stabilized. Now that he's got teammates behind him again, he is stabilized once more. Trouble behind. Trouble in the back. Looks like Mo Perry and Derek Miller. Fourth yellow tonight. Just shy of halfway. Mo Perry not having the greatest time of his life right now. And here's what happened from my above. Quarter speed, AB in slow motion. And that's Miller just losing it out of 4. Cliffs the 97 in the 1-2 combo. Alfred Denny gets a piece of it as well, the 21. Looks like Roberg and Wygant get a piece of it themselves. And unfortunately for Perry, he gets spun all the way into pit lane. So insult to injury there. He will try to catch up to the field here, and we will have pit stops. More than likely under this sequence. This will make it a one-stop race to the end. Pretty handily. Makes it a little bit nicer. The way it was looking, there would be a lot of pit stops within the last 10 laps of this race. Now, you've shifted the window up by about 10, 12 laps. Gives you a 20-lap run to the finish if it stays green from here. Which, obviously, knock on wood, hopefully it does, but 12 cautions last season. We've not had a Brickyard 400 race in modern history that's had anything less than 7 cautions. Would be hard to imagine. Sawyer stays out. Viscali stays out. Not many do. Sawyer, Viscali, Thompson, Jimenez, and Denny. This is going to be a fun gamble to follow. Everyone else down pit lane, and it's not many that stayed out here. Pereira, Jason Scott also stay out. They're looking for track position, knowing that they've got to make a pit stop here around lap 60, 65. This is going to be interesting. I think with the cautions we've had, I wonder if they're under the belief that they can one-stop it if they get to 65. I think that has become the next conversation point. Not many stayed out here on this. Not many did. Sawyer to Henderson stayed out, and I don't think Henderson meant to. I think Henderson came down pit lane and either missed his box or changed heart. Because he just came off of pit lane. Steven Overstat, after his retirement on the opening lap, saying, "I hate everything." Being dumped lap 1 and a crown jewel event. Yeah, I've been there, done that. I think season 5 or 6. I think season 5, I got wrecked by William Britton. Like in the first 10 laps, and it killed my race. That was right here in the HTL Brickyard 400. So I have been there before. Been there, done it. Completely understand it. So Sawyer at the front of the field. Old tires for the top 8 here. Caitlin Hyde, Dustin Hall, first cars on fresh tires. Keep an eye on them. Everyone has at least one stop to make. The question is, when do you make it? Are the fresh tires viable enough right now that they can pick off these top 8? Caitlin Hyde, Dustin Hall, Patrick Oberstadt, Eli Sasick, Elias Flores, Christina Ryan, Emily Howe. They complete your top 15 here. As we get ready to go back racing. Fourth caution of the night, fourth restart coming up. We'll get us to start lap 50. We got a bunch of drivers that want to win here more than anything else. Viscali home racetrack. Sawyer, reigning ABN World Champion, has never won at the Brickyard. Bailey Thompson desperately needs to put her season on the right track with a race win, sitting outside the top 24 in points, far away from the playoff cut line. Jimenez looking to potentially play spoiler in the 11. Green flag flies, away we go. Alfredini asleep in the inside row. And we are back running. Close quarters here further back. How do you manage the old tire runners? Big question. Hall ahead of height for those on fresh tires giving it a shot. Hall has to get around Henderson. That would move him to 6th. Thompson ahead of Viscali. Jimenez stays 4th. Pereira in 5th. I wouldn't have given Dustin Hall the outside lane like that. Fresh tires, he's going to run through the outside lane, and that's exactly what he did. Clear. Dustin Hall still has to be smart. There's a huge stack up further back behind Elias Flores. This is some of the cars that stayed out. Jason Scott, Alfred Denny on old tires is why this is happening right now. And they are sinking like a rock. Flores gets clear. Matthews, Trout, Peach, and others trying to work their way through. Front of the field, Tucker Sawyer has set the fastest lap of the race, 51.341 for the 90 car. He's only won once here. Sorry, twice. One at Talladega, one at Watkins Glen. Would like to win at the Brickyard too. Elias Flores, new fastest lap. He got clear of the melee behind him and has set sail, said Arrivederci to those on older tires. Sawyer continues to lead here as we approach 6 laps to go in stage 2. Thompson in 2nd, Jimenez in 3rd, Viscali in 4th. Now under threat from Dustin Hall up to 5th. Henderson trying to hang on for stage points. He scored 6 of them in stage 1. Every point counts right now, especially on the outside of the playoff cut line, which Henderson is by 4. Viscali tried the block. Dustin Hall said, nah, not quite going to work like that. Gets clear anyway. Hall to fourth. Henderson had to check up there a pretty heavy amount behind Viscali. Viscali trying to defend that fourth spot. Henderson trying to hold on to fifth. Sorry, Viscali trying to hold on to fifth. Henderson sixth. Emily Howe working on Patrick Oberstadt here. This would be for the seventh spot. I'm seeing that our overlay is a little bit jacked up, it looks like. We'll refresh it once we get through the stage because the positions are correct. Sawyer, Thompson, Jimenez, Hall, Viscali. That's your top five. Ascent 1, Stage 1 with Eli Sasek at the helm. Tucker Sawyer looking to win Stage 2. Coming 2 to go in the stage. Henderson give up the bottom of the racetrack, gives Sasek a chance. Can Sasek power his way through? Henderson side drafting him pretty heavily. Contact between the two. But Sasek does get clear there. Dustin Hall up the third. Got around Jimenez, working around Bailey Thompson now. Dustin Hall actually loses a spot there. Jimenez trying to capitalize on that battle between Thompson and Hall. This is the white flag of stage 2. And caution is out, I think. It is out. It's Dale Markowski. That's the reason why it's out. Took us a second to recalibrate there, but there he is. Significant damage on the front end of the 8 car. And so the stage ends early. Field freezes at the time of caution. And that'll do it. So what happened to Markowski here? And this gives us a pretty good tail. Just gets loose. That's through turn 1. Moperi makes avoiding action there. Avoids contact. A straight shot into the inside wall. And because he comes to a stop on the warm-up lane, that is considered part of the racing surface, they'll throw a caution for that. So 5th caution the night, and Markowski got some repair work to do. And this throws a wrench in those trying to make it a one-stop to the end. Pitting here, you've got to do a lot of fuel saving if you're going to have a chance of doing that. This is going to get intense, I think. But realistically, if you're the 90, you've got to come down pit lane. Dustin Hall stays out. This makes sense to me. Well, at least for some, it makes sense to me. Well, no. A good half of the field stayed out here. So this makes sense. Because you're under the assumption that no one can make it without another pit stop. Those pitting right now need a lot of help to be able to make it to the end. 65, which was the number they were trying to get to, would have still required them to save fuel to get to the end. This is practically out of range for them. They got the stage points they wanted, but now they're going to struggle to finish this race. This worked for Dustin Hall. This worked for Eli Sasek. This worked for Emily Howe, for Christina Ryan. Patrick Oberstadt, though they were on the right strategy. We talked about this in the race preview. I keep referring to it. There were going to be drivers that sacrificed stage points to try to get position for the end of the race. That was what that last pit stop was on lap 47, where you saw so much of the field come down pit lane. They were sacrificing position, not knowing they were going to get it back, but knowing they were on the right strategy to get to the end of the race comfortably. And now they're on this right strategy where they have the position, plus everyone's got a stop to make. The shoe is the tables have flipped in this situation. Dustin Hall leads. Sasek, Howe, Ryan. Dustin Hall will choose the outside lane, the first driver to do so on a restart in this race. And the reason why, Christina Ryan is outside row 2. Some familiar faces in that row. Patrick Oberstadt inside row 3, but not able to really help. And Dustin Hall not going to help Emily Howe move forward here. The points leader will have the points lead by just looking at how this race has gone so far by all over a race distance at this point. Of the season. Lights go out, which means we get ready to go racing once again. Caitlin Height, row 3 outside. Keep an eye on that 13 car. Elias Flores on the inside of row 4. John Matthews outside row 4. Josh Arnold outside row 5. DJ Trout to his inside to make up the top 10 for this restart. The stages are done. It is a run to the finish from here. Do we see regulation or do we get overdrive here in the HTL Cup Series Brickyard 400? We are glad you're with us. Huge shout out to our official drink supplement provider, Advanced, for jumping on board, beginning with our 8th anniversary. They've helped us a lot with cancer treatment and recovery, whether it's been trying to make up for sleep, working on focus. If they can help me, chances are I can help you too, whether it's focus, energy, hydration, or just trying to get a little bit better sleep. A little bit of everything. 10% off. You have to use the code ABN Studios. We're glad they're on board as an official partner for us here on ABN as we get ready for the start of Stage 3. Eli Sasek. We'll have to wait for the signal from Dustin Hall, the 1 car, to go racing once again. Christina Ryan getting in position, looking for a chance to potentially nab a podium spot here. This will be an interesting restart, to say the least. To the restart zone, and here we go. And that worked about as perfectly as you wanted it to. Christina Ryan clear of Sasek by turn 1. Trouble behind. Huge hit into the outside wall. I think that's Jimenez. And there's the caution. And I think it was Jimenez that hit the wall pretty hard. No, I don't think it was Jimenez. Jimenez lost ground, lost position. I don't see a lot of damage on that 11 car. One of the orangish cars, there's a few in the field, bear with me, really slammed that wall hard. Was it Jimenez or was it Snipes? Let's look through the damaged race cars. Snipes in the 17. It looks like it might have been him. And he's going to come down pit lane. Yeah, he's got a lot of damage on the front of that 17 car. And this is why we'll have to back it up here. One moment. Let's see. Oh. So this is on the restart. That is Sawyer. Oh, this is a lane change violation for Tucker Sawyer. All right, step by step. On this restart. Lane change violation. You have to stay in the lane that you are in until the start-finish line. Did he do that? Yes, he did. So that's not a lane change violation. He misread that. So he's good there, but he has a massive run. And I have a feeling this is going to be a miscommunication. I don't think they're going to realize where they're at. Thompson tries to come down, not realizing that they're 3 wide. More contact there between the two. It's hard to tell there. It really is hard to tell there. And I think Jimenez. So we were right. Jimenez did get a piece of this. But it's not quite the piece that we thought. That's the 11. Almost got speared. Pereira saves it and gives up the 96's own race in the process. That hurts. That hurts a lot. Pereira wasn't having a great race to that point, but that puts a bow on it, I think. So several cars on pit lane. The former teammates, they had it worked out pretty well. Now they'll be alongside each other here. And I would have to assume, one would imagine, this is how the top 12 looks right now. One would have to imagine that Hall will choose the outside lane once again in the hopes of jumping in front of Christina Ryan on the restart and assuming what they had started on that last restart. This is the 6th one coming up of the night. And indeed, that's what's going to happen here. So Dustin Hall now has to rely on Caitlin Height. Christina Ryan, I'm assuming, will be holding up the 9 Eli Sasek here. Emily Howe, 3rd in line on the inside lane. Patrick Oberstadt, outside lane, 3rd row. Elias Flores, John Matthews, Josh Arnold, Hunter Peach. Round out your top 10 for this 6th restart coming up. Dustin Hall and Christina Ryan at the front of the field here as we get ready to run. It's almost time to go racing once again. Dustin Hall, Christina Ryan, Caitlin Height, Eli Sasek. Your top 4 on this restart, and there we go. And that's exactly what we thought was going to happen. Exactly what we thought was going to happen there. And the issue is that Caitlin Height still got clear for 2nd. It did hold up Eli Sasek. So the anti-ascent propaganda is still working its magic right now. Car outside, very far outside. I believe that was Jason Scott losing spots there further back. That felt like about as coordinated effort of moving ascent out of the top 5 as you could possibly arrange it. John Matthews on the tail end of Sasek now. So is the reigning HTL Cup Series champion Hunter Peach. They're side by side through 4. There are ascent cars in the wings. Flores, the 99. Wygent, the 00. They are in range right now. The Cavalry trying to help out their team leader. Car really loose. That's another one of the ascent cars. That's Sawyer. Now on the warm-up lane. Rejoining near the tail end of the field. Saved it. Did a great job there. But will lose hand over fist positions there. Dustin Hall leads. Caitlin Height in 2nd. Little smack of the wall there for the 13. Still in the runner-up spot, looking for a 4th Brickyard win. Dustin Hall looking for his 2nd, having won the inaugural edition of the HTL Brickyard 400. Christina Ryan in 3rd, has never won an ABN broadcasted race here at Indianapolis. Would love for that to change tonight. But that's going to be a tall ask. Coming to 30 laps to go. Everyone's got a pit stop to make, especially those at the front of the field. If you're in the top 14, you're pitting within the next 10 laps. Dustin Hall is in now. Dustin Hall is in now. That is surprising. Kalen Height, new race leader. I like the idea for Dustin Hall. He knows he can get there to the end of the race from here. If a caution comes out, he goes to the front of the field. I like where he's at on that. I understand the mentality behind it. The issue is that if that's the situation, that leaves you so vulnerable on old tires at the end of the race. Dustin Hall comes out of pit lane, not going to go a lap down here, so that's not a problem for the one car. Emily Howell's down pit lane now as well. So this is not a one-off situation. This is an idea of coming down pit lane at the opening of the window, get yourself in clean air, and set some good laps. That is a coordinated idea. Dustin Hall, Emily Howell, two of the more experienced drivers in this field. Decades of experience between those two. And they're the only ones on this idea. I like the idea and concept. It leaves you very exposed if something happens later on in this race. If a caution were to come out within the next 7 laps, sure, you're golden. You're a made person. Oberstadt, Brady Smith down pit lane now. So more cars beginning to make that dive early here in the window to get to the end of the race. For those that came down pit lane on lap 61, you have to save. You have to try to go as long as possible here. You don't have much of a choice because you've given up that track position. It's tough. Josh Arnold right on the bumper of Eli Sasek. Sasek right there attached to Christina Ryan. Josh Arnold has been quick. He's been deceptively quick. He usually comes alive at the Brickyard. Again, this is where he got his first career win in the HTL Cup Series. Right on the bumper of the 9. Does he make a look into turn 1? No, he doesn't. He is content right now staring where he's at. I think he realizes he's the fastest of the top 5 right now. I think he knows that. Henderson just came out of pit lane. There he is, bottom of your screen. He stays lead lap. That's very important. That is imperative to make this whole strategy call happen. Being able to stay lead lap to do so. It is not something everyone has a chance to do. If you were in the top 10 or thereabouts, that's your chance. Christina Ryan comes down pit lane this time, as does Josh Arnold. So they've bought in early. 26 to go. Kalen Height trying to go back-to-back here at the Brickyard. 3 different strategies right now in play. Those that are trying to save to get to the end without making another stop. Those coming down pit lane early here in this window from lap 70 onwards. Those going to about lap 80, 81, which will believe the 13 might be close to. Let's see how the response is coming to 25 laps to go here in Indianapolis. Kalen Height stays out again. So does Sasek, so does Wygant, so does Peach, so does Pressing. Denny's in, Sawyer's in. Jason Scott is in. Here comes a sentence, says Olivia Pereira, whose day is done here at the Brickyard. I would hold off on that. They're not on the right strategy, I don't think. I think where Dustin Hall is at right now is the right call. Height is in, and Sasek will re-inherit the race lead for the first time since the start of this race. I would like to remind you that the longer you stay out, the more the undercut works out there. That's where Dustin Hall and Emily Howe and company, that's where they've hedged their bets. But everyone able to go at a different pace right now. Hunter Peach in the conversation, runner-up last season in this race. He is now third on the racetrack right now. Cressy in fourth, Flores fifth, Meredith sixth, Harry seventh, Piscali eighth, Miller ninth, Jimenez up to the top 10 once again. Piscali down pit lane. Miller on down. From Miller all the way to Markowski, it looks like, trying to save fuel to get to the end. This is going to be a very interesting race to see how this plays out. Coming to 23 to go. No, 22 to go. Hard to do math. Peach is faster than Wygant right now. If Wygant was coming down pit lane, he's got to hold off a lap. He's not going down pit lane this time. Peach wants a chance at the race win. A race he was denied a season ago to Caitlin Height. Couldn't get by Wygant that time around. Meredith's in. Blake Anderson, last car on the lead lap at the moment. Meredith, fuel only stop. That's, I think, a really bold call. Wygant comes in this time. Sasek stays out. Peach, Cressy, Flores, Perry your top five. When they make their last stop, they will cycle out of the top 10. Anderson, I think I see damage on the nose of that 25 car. There is damage on the nose of that 25 car. So he's made contact with somebody coming down to his pit stop that last go around. That's why he is struggling to stay ahead of Sasek right now. Does Sasek come down pit lane this time? No. Cressy does. Coming to 20 laps to go. Anderson trying to stay on the lead lap. I don't know if there's communication or confusion. I don't think Sasek's trying to get around him. Sasek using him as a buffer from Peach is what he's doing. A lot of cars coming up there, though. Cressy is in. Flores is in. This is a long pit lane here at Indianapolis. Spent a lot of time on it. Sasek is in. Peach stays out. We'll lead a lap here. Harry is in. Miller stays out. How about Jimenez? Jimenez stays out as well. These are drivers trying to save fuel to get to the end without a stop. They finish lap 65-35 from the finish. They are in. This is big time fuel save. Hunter Peach cannot Hunter Peach has to come down pit lane. He's in a left 47. He has to come down pit lane. Miller, Jimenez, Jade, Odie, and Ellis trying to save. Hunter Peach will not be able to get to the end of the race. He will not be in the conversation to win the Brickyard 400 here. Sassy coming out of pit lane now. It'll take a hot second to get up to speed. And Peach is in now. Down pit lane comes Hunter Peach. Derek Miller, podium finisher a week ago, finished second to Rudy Valentin in Austin, Texas. Talked to him on that podium interview, and he said that was what he needed to get this season on the right track. He is now on the fuel save strategy to try to win this race on the racetrack without an extra stop. Jimenez second, Jade third, Odie, Ellis, all in a fuel save situation right now. They've got to hang on for over 16 more laps. I don't think Ellis has much of a chance. Odie on up. They just might. They've got 30 seconds to burn to save as much fuel as they can. Miller's not clutching and coasting. I've been listening to the engine audio on the 18 car. He's not clutching and coasting. I want to see what Jimenez is doing, the Sabio Racing Toyota. What is Jimenez up to right now? Fuel save here. Is it just fuel save in the 1 and 3, or are we saving in all 4 corners? All 4 corners. Saving early. Coming to 15 to go. This is about as wild of a race as you can have at the end. 2 different strategy calls. One pushing all out to the end. One fuel saving all the way to the line. Derek Miller's not saving. If he is, he's not clutching and coasting to save, which is very peculiar to me. Dustin Hall was in this position on Tuesday for the HTL Challenger Series race here at Indianapolis and couldn't quite make it work. Are we experiencing deja vu here? Is that what we're experiencing? Byron Jones, a fuel-only stop, did not take tires. He is also in this conversation. Whether or not he stays there for the next 15 laps is a different story. But right now, he's there in the 24. Josh Arnold in the 12 car. He is 8th. Emily Howe in 9th. Christina Ryan, top 10. Caitlin Height, defending winner of this race, 11th. They're hoping none of the top 5 make it. Jimenez, I feel, the safest in making it. Blue Jade got a podium in the Challenger Series by fuel-saving Fontana. This is going to be tough. This is going to be very tough. Byron Jones trying to hang in there in that 24 car, not having tires on that pit stop. He's going to feel every bit of the stress that car is under right now. This track eats tires up. Diamond graded across the entire surface. It can be pretty rough. It doesn't really bother the IndyCar machines too awful bad because those cars are half the weight of a stock car. IndyCar machines, they can push 230 miles an hour, no problem, because they're 1,800 pounds. This is almost a 3,600-pound stock car, 1.5 tons. Casey Ellis about to fall into this group. But Ellis realistically was not part of the lead conversation trying to win this race on that fuel safe strategy. He was too far back for that. But if he can hang in, it's a net positive because he was outside the top 20. Ellis can't save it all anyway. He comes down pit lane. You saw a flash of him on your screen. There you see him coming down pit lane now. So he was never really in the conversation. Derek Miller's pulled almost to 8 seconds ahead of Jimenez. Jimenez saving heavy. Jade saving heavy. Odie saving heavy. Either Derek Miller figured something out and no one else has, or Miller can't make it and is just not trying. Both make sense. Both make sense right now. Coming to 10 to go. Next time by for your race leader. Derek Miller already at a turn number 2. There he is. Behind Henderson. Henderson, last car lead lap 27th. One of his worst races here at the Brickyard. And it came undone on that final pit stop. Contact with another car. Completely undoing his race. A lot of fuel saving going on right now. Coming to 10 to go. If you've got it, burn it. Like if you have the time ahead of the race leaders, and you do, they have not gained enough on you right now to be super threatening. You have over 20 seconds in hand, 22 seconds in hand. If you're Jimenez, if you're Jade, if you're Odie, you're looking at a podium right now. Hang in there. Miller's the question mark because he's not doing a lot of fuel saving right now. He's behind Henderson, and he's made no effort to get around the 25. But that doesn't tell me he's saving. Because, as we mentioned throughout this entire broadcast, it is hard to pass. Denny coming down pit lane. That was the flash of blue and white. Henderson is trying to stay in the lead lap. Again, just like what it was with Sasek earlier, I don't think Miller's trying to pass Henderson. I think he's using him from draft, trying to save a little bit of fuel. The question is, if you're not clutching and coasting, how much fuel are you saving? He's keeping his distance to Henderson, so I think he's measuring it out differently. I don't know. That's the wild part about all of this. With less than 10 laps to go, I don't know. Jimenez is saving like her car's on fire. Miller's not clutched and coast once. And Dustin Hall, the most helpless feeling in the world, there are 4 cars in front of you that might all be able to make it. And your strategy was off by 5 laps. That is a gut punch. Miller has the pace to close in and pass 25. He's not. So there is a saving element here. Unless Henderson lets him go here, and I don't think that's happening. Miller backs out of it, I think. Yes, he does. Again, I don't think Henderson realizes that Miller's not trying to pass him. Yeah, Miller's just trying to draft with him right now. I don't think it matters to Henderson. It may not matter. He may be aware, and it may not matter to him. But I also know that Henderson has a lot of pride and wants to finish this race on the lead lap. He wants to have something to hang his hat on. And Miller's the only guy that can lap him right now. Jimenez in second. She is 9 seconds back in that fuel save strategy, and they were saving a lot of fuel. And Miller's in. Miller couldn't make it. So that was why, coming to 6 to go. So yes, this is a hard fuel save to get to the end of the race. 100%. So Miller couldn't make it in. 6-lap shot. A lot of fuel save going on. You can hear the cacophony of the engines firing back up out of the corner. They are heavy saving right now. Miller fuel only. But he will drop out of the top 10 handily here. 18 seconds. You have all the time in the world to save fuel. All the time in the world to save fuel. Already won second place. And Jade's not going to fight it too awful hard here. Jade filling in for Martin Roberg. Not going to fight it too awful hard. That's an extra car. That's an extra draft. James Wright down pit lane, out of the way. But his race has been negatively impacted well before this. It was negatively impacted in stage 1. Odie in second. Trying to stay in touch of Jimenez here. The last time the 11 car was in victory lane, it was Tommy Reynolds behind the wheel. Coming to 4 to go. Odie can't make it. Odie can't make it. Oh my goodness. He couldn't do it. It hinges on Blue Jade and June Jimenez looking for her first HTL Cup Series victory. For the satellite team to Arrowhead Racing, for Sablier Racing, it'd be their first. Dustin Hall moves to the podium. But it's a lot of pressure from Byron Jones and Emily Howe. Can you save enough fuel to go about another 7.5 miles? You know what you got to do. Can you do it? Apperson in. Jade stays out, and there's going to be some help from Blowers here. That's teammate and teammate right now. That is some help right now. Blowers a lap down, not in this conversation. Doesn't have a chance to even be on the lead lap. 3 laps down. He is purely looking at helping the 60 car right now. They're not worried about the race win. They're worried about the podium. This helps the 60 car in the standings a ton. The Owners' Championship standings, this is massive. You got to get around 2 more times. Jimenez has pulled away about 5 seconds from Jade. 15 seconds to Dustin Hall and company. 2 laps to go. We'll take a pivot. This is what 3rd and 4th on down look like with Hall leading. The feeling of dejection beginning to emanate from this group, knowing that they had a chance to battle for the race win, and now they're hoping for 3rd. Third, normally a great result. Byron Jones would normally be over the moon here, knowing that they were 2 cars outsmarting them to get that for those first 2 spots. If they finish this race, that's still not a guarantee. If Jimenez and Jade can finish this race, that is enormous. And Jimenez giving it everything on the fuel save. 8 seconds the gap. Can you go 2.5 more miles, June Jimenez? White flag is in the air. 1 to go, presented by Henderson Graphics. Shades of Alexander Rossi, 2016. Almost full clutch and coast through the entirety of the South Chute. Going north for the last time. Daylight in nothing but. This is going to battle for second. Trouble! Trouble on the last lap! Trouble on the last lap! Jones spun! Back in the right direction. This is the battle for second. Jimenez out of turn 4. June Jimenez becomes an HTL Cup Series race winner. Hall gets around Jade. Dustin Hall will settle for runner-up. Christina Ryan knocked off the podium. Emily Howe finishes third. There's going to be some hurt feelings here. Across the line. Arnold 4th, Ryan 5th, Height 6th. But it's all in awe of June Jimenez, who wins the HTL Brickyard 400. Out of fuel on the back straightaway. Dustin Hall settles for the bridesmaid's dress. Emily Howe, somehow, some way, ends up in third. We'll have to review that final lap. Dustin Hall in second, out of fuel himself. Out of fuel himself, being helped back by Patrick Oberstadt. Jimenez clutching and coasting. Out of turn 4. In an attempt to make it to the yard of bricks. The slowest crawl to the start-finish line that you can have, but it is one of exasperation for Jimenez. Brought in, part of the Arrowhead Racing project, brand new team formed to bring Jimenez in that 11 car. Sablier Racing breaks through into victory lane for the first time at the Yard of Bricks. Insanity. And we'll take a look at that last lap. Because they approached Blue Jade pretty quickly here, but I want to see what happened to Byron Jones. The 24 right there. Byron Jones spun out of turn 2, battling with Emily Howe in the 15. This is how it all really kicked off, because it brought everyone into the conversation there at the end. That's Byron Jones getting loose. Howe had already committed high. I don't necessarily see a problem with that. Christina Ryan, for a moment, moves into the catbird seat in third. What happens here? I'm very curious as to what happened. Ooh. Contact between the teammates made that difficult. Christina Ryan committed low. Flowers was trying to push Blue Jay to the finish. And Christina Ryan going to be livid by losing the podium off of that. Going to be livid by that. But that was the run to the finish from high above. Ryan finished 5th. Hal finished 3rd. Josh Arnold finished in between. And so here are your results from the Brickyard 400. Jimenez from 24th to the 1st on a fuel-safe strategy of the ages. Outbesting Dustin Hall, who also ran out of fuel at the end of the race there. Emily Howe in 3rd. Josh Arnold in 4th. Christina Ryan in 5th. Then Caitlin Height, DJ Trout, Zach Meredith, Pacey Wygant, Eli Sasick, your top 10. Blue Jay, Tucker Sawyer, your top 12 here in Indianapolis. John Matthews, Mirabella Viscali, Patrick Oberstadt, Nicholas Pressey, Byron Jones, Malachi Tracy, Mo Perry, Brady Smith, Bailey Thompson, Jason Scott, Elias Flores, Derek Miller, your top 24. All of them on the lead lap. Richard Odie, lead lap as well. So was Blake Henderson, the last car on the lead lap. Gary Donaldson, 1 lap down. Same with Alfred Denny. Dale Markowski, also 1 lap down. Casey Ellis, 2 laps down at the end. Bobby Blowers, 3 laps down. James Wright, 10 laps down. Zach Apperson, 12 laps down. Hunter Peach, 13 laps down. Pereira, Snipes, and Oberstadt failing to finish. Only 3 retirements in this race. 6 cautions set the stage for a wild 35 laps. That was a pretty intense run to the checkered flag. We'll hear from your podium finishers here in Indianapolis. Emily Howe in 3rd extends the championship lead by a sizable margin. Dustin Hall in 2nd. June Jimenez in 3rd. A wild, wild race. Let's start the conversation with Emily Howe. 3rd place finish here. Points leader now by more than a race's worth here in Indianapolis. A difficult race. We knew that going in. 3rd place seems like a pretty good result, all things considered. Emily, walk us through it. That was an adventure, at least the last 35 laps.
Yeah, I mean, what a great strategy from June to be able to stretch that far. I figured it's probably gonna be a battle of first pit last, and I didn't think first pit last could make it from 38 to go. So excellent job there to her, and then had a great car all night. Just always was kind of behind on the strategy. That first caution in the green flag pit stops really kind of put it behind the 8 ball. We had a really good strategy that was going to save us a stop if it would have went green there, but it didn't go green, so ended up in a situation where we're kind of just playing alternate strategies. So I'm happy to come home with P3. Had a lot of fun racing out there, despite it being kind of a slog. The car was fantastic. Probably the best car we've had all season in terms of just drivability and handling and getting through traffic. So that was a good bit of fun.
Insane race though at the end. Obviously we saved I think the best run for the end of the race, that, as you mentioned, 38 laps from the pit stop there. 35 laps for this was the green flag run from lap 65 to the finish there. Got a little bit physical there at the end. Byron Jones a little loose, comes off the nose of the 15 car there at a turn 2. Not a whole lot you can do in that situation. Walk us through that final lap, because that was sort of like see what you can pick off, and you had the podium, then lost it. They got it back all in the span of a mile.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just was just trying to bring it home. We have a couple laps to go. I was happy with whatever it was, P5, and I had a really good 2, and I wasn't trying to, intimidate him or anything, but I guess I got a arrow loose, and then I tried to back out of it, but it was too awkward then. So I hate it for him. But I know he's mad. But I mean, I wasn't intentional, and we never made contact. So it's just one of those shitty situations where I just got too good of a run through too, and I wasn't. I was just gonna finish behind him. But yeah, I guess out of the turn 4, I guess Bobby was pushing June back across as a lap
Oh, Blue Jade,
car,
yeah.
and I don't know. It was once the contact with Byron happened, I was on the back foot, and me and Katie almost wrecked in 3, and then Christina got wrecked by Bobby and the illegal tandem, and I don't know. I think I finished somewhere. I finished.
Finished third as one, as we mentioned, over a race advantage now in the points heading into Nashville Super Speedway, another track that's going to really eat the tires up here next Monday. What's the vibe going into Nashville? Again, tire eating track. It's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult, but we've seen the Arrowhead cars, 83 Flying Machines cars, usually thrive when you have the ability to save tire and make the long runs work. Is that the general vibe going into Tennessee next week?
Oh yeah, channel in my inner Alex Bates, and go to the Nashville Fairgrounds and be at the wrong track, and then channel in Michael Waltrip and go to the right track. I mean, that's our track package either way. So I mean, I might as well bring my Fairgrounds car over there and see what happens. But yeah, I think long run has really been our strong suit all year long. We have really really great speed late in these runs. Even here, really shine through, being able to make passes late in the run, and really flex their muscles. So hopefully we can bring that to Nashville next week and get us another good result.
A phenomenal job here. Third place at the Brickyard. A phenomenal job for 83 Flying Machines, first and third on the podium as well. Before we let you go and let you get ready, not only for the next race in the HTL Cup Series in Nashville, but for Winstall Cup Series action on Sunday at Kansas. Is there anyone to shout and say thank you to? The floor is yours. Congratulations on the podium.
You guys, anything all the viewers, everyone behind the scenes, the ABN Patreon. I'm looking at all the sponsors in the car. Blake Henderson for painting stuff and putting on the league, and all the viewers. All my teammates. Want to thank June for using all the extra fuel tubing. I think she had like a 42-gallon fuel cell for today. So that was cool to put in use. And yeah, see y'all see you on Sunday for Winstall, Kansas for the second race of the chase. I'm leading 2 series on ABN right now, which is pretty cool, points leader wise. That probably won't last long, at least on the Winstall side. But well, depends. Who's in second in points right now? Is it Potak?
And on the Winstall
I think it's Potak.
side?
If it's Potak, I'm screwed.
I think I would have to, let me double check here. I can pull it up and see real quick for you. That's actually a really good question. I don't remember.
I think it's Potak.
It is by 10 points. Robertson third, Michael Guest fourth.
All right.
So there you go.
Well, cool. We'll see you on Sunday.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you'll see Carmen on ABN broadcasting tomorrow for something, and then probably on Thursday, Friday, Saturday you take a day off. What's your schedule for this?
HTL Challenger Series tomorrow from, I think we're in Nashville as well tomorrow for the Challenger Series, the Truck Series for HTL. Thursday, we're in Kansas for the IndyCar Series, and then we're off Friday, Saturday, and we're back on Sunday for Winstall. So that's what this calendar currently looks like, at least.
Well, cool. I'll see you again tomorrow. We won't see my track, but see you tomorrow for ABN and all the various stuff that gets put on this week, and then see you on track Sunday.
A phenomenal job for Emily Howe. P3 tonight here at the Brickyard. We'll see her on track again on Sunday in Kansas. The car tomorrow for the Winstall Cup Series. Gonna be a lot of fun. Emily, enjoy the podium, and we'll talk to you again on Sunday.
Woo!
A phenomenal job for Emily Howe here tonight. We move one spot higher to a driver who has been in this position, unfortunately, before. 6 days ago, had to make a pit stop and hope that it would be the right call. This time, a lot closer. Only one car, the difference here at the Brickyard, but second place still feels like it stings quite a bit. You had the fastest car on your strategy all race long. Dustin Hall, walk us through how that race played out for you, and obviously the thoughts coming out of that race, because it got hairy at the end, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was an interesting race. really, we only got beat by one person, and I really can't even say person in this instance. June is an alien when it comes to saving fuel. Holy crap! How many times are we going to get beat by June on fuel saving races? So good, so good. 5 laps longer on track, and I ran out coming to the line. Like, that's just incredible. Yeah, it was a good race. Still hard to pass, so I knew I had to play a track position game, and I also knew that you don't go a lap down pitting from the front. So I wanted to be the first one to pit. There were still a lot of cars on the track, so I thought there was a good chance another yellow would come out. So I went a lap earlier than I wanted to, just to be sure I could be the first one. That way I would be in front if a caution came out and people had to cycle. I'm sure a lot of people who ended up having to pit wouldn't have pitted if a caution did come out, so it really wouldn't have worked out. So I was glad that yellow didn't come out after all. But I did use in-pack fuel numbers, and that was my big mistake. My fuel calculations were based off of those numbers from earlier in the race when I was in the pack, and when I got out by myself and was just laying down the heaters, it burned a lot more fuel. Imagine that. Looked down with about 18 to go and realized I was 2 laps short. So I had to save pretty hard. I knew that Byron and Josh and Emily were all catching me, but I also knew that if I could clutch early and just turn down with a real shallow entry, that I would just air dump on Byron or whoever was behind me, and they'd lose their nose and they'd end up running the corner as slow as I was. So I could really slow their pace. And then all I had to do was maximize my exit out of 2 and 4 so that they couldn't close with the draft and their tandem drafting by the time we got to where I needed to clutch again. So just made it far enough. Yeah, you're right. It got a little hairy on the last lap with people pushing people and other people trying to navigate it with leaders coming. There was a whole lot of questionable decisions through 3 and 4. Really down the back straightaway through 3 and 4 on that last lap, but no harm, no foul. Emily and Byron unfortunately had a little kerfuffle out of 2 that gave me the clearance I needed to be able to run out and coast and bring it home second. So a good day.
A good run of form here. Almost had a chance to win your second Brickyard Thunder after winning the first 5 years ago. If you want to feel a little bit extra older on this one.
Don't need any help, Carmen.
Yeah, right. I think we get enough of just looking at the average the age of the field. I think both of us are both kind of seeing the gray hairs.
Yeah. Get out the rocker.
Yeah. That being said, a good run of form here. We've seen, and we talked about it a whole lot last season, like wanting to see the step up in the performance for you in that one team here. And we're seeing that in spades here. Obviously, broke the winless streak at Kansas. A second place here, literally a fuel safe strategy away. The unthinkable had to happen for you to not to get that win tonight. And somehow it happened. That being said, this one car has been consistently among the fastest. Nashville coming up. What's the feeling going into that race to try to keep this momentum going? Because this one car, when it's been on the racetrack, it's been a rocket ship.
Yeah, Team Competition Performance is putting out just absolute speed. Last year, after we went to open setups, we were building in a way that was not really compatible with my driving style. Nowadays, the way that the car wants to be built, it's a lot more like I like to drive it. You can be fast driving off the right front, and I'd rather sit it on the right front than a right rear. It just requires finesse and patience, and when I didn't lapse there, it was really fast. So that's a big part of it. Another part is winning a race definitely took some pressure off, but it was more of a decision at the beginning of the season to just go have fun, just go play, go race the game. And that's what we've been doing this season, and I think we're picking up stride and momentum at the right time.
We're excited to see it. This one car looks amazing every time we get to see it on the broadcast, especially when it's on the podium. It looks even better. Before we let you go, and obviously let you get ready for what's coming up this week, obviously Nashville, we get started a few days early with the Challenger Series. You're in that championship conversation there as well. We'll be at Nashville again on Monday for the HTL Cup Series race. Before we let you go and let you get ready for both of those races, if there's anyone you shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. A phenomenal job. Again, this one car, fastest car on single lap pace, fastest car in the long runs, just took a miracle to deny the race from the night.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens. That's racing. So, big shout out to Team Conti Sim Performance, to Henderson Graphics, to Johan Seminario Designs for this paint that I ran tonight. Great looking car. It's always a tough decision when it comes down to, okay, what are we going to run? But this one seems to have the success, so we'll just keep running that green thing. And you for the broadcast, ABN, you guys have been rock solid support for me through a lot of things, and I love supporting you guys back. I really appreciate what you do. And of course the league, Beagle Denny Racing, the teammates. I've got a great team. It's awesome to have Patrick and Bren when he's here to really test me and try and well, by no effort of theirs, just drive me to be faster, to pick up on what they're doing, to have the speed, because let's be honest, they have had they've been top tier in terms of pace in HTL for the last season and a half. So definitely great to have teammates like them. And I believe that's it. Oh, the family, friends, they'll all tune in and watch. Sure appreciate you guys. It's crazy that my biggest fans through my real life racing are still my biggest fans in cartoon racing, and that's pretty awesome. So thank you guys.
A phenomenal job for Dustin Hall. We'll see him again tomorrow night in Music City for the Nashville race for the HTL Challenger Series. Second place tonight. A phenomenal job. A lightning rod of a number one machine here at the Brickyard. Second place for Dustin Hall. Dustin, we'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully talk to you again tomorrow in Nashville.
Sounds good to me, Carmen. Thank you.
A phenomenal job for Dustin Hall today. And then it shifts to the miracle on Holman Boulevard. Lap 65 was the last official pit stop marker for June Jimenez. Fuel only on that stop, topped off with fuel just to make sure you could have a chance to get to the end. Hardcore saving all the way through. Outbested some of those that pit after you and ran out of fuel. Walk us through this race. This was electric from start to finish, especially last 35 laps. A thing of majesty as far as fuel saving goes. Walk us through it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Carmen. Yeah, I really committed. We were chatting in the team chat, just deciding whether it made sense to try for the fuel strategy, and I didn't feel super confident the whole race, just in trying to leverage tire advantages and being able to get through the pack. So I knew that I was restarting 22nd or 23rd, whether I got tires or not. And at that point, I was like, well, if I'm not getting through the field on tires, I guess I got to try something else. I feel like I played the strategy of that race very, very well in general. Also made that call with, I think, 15 or 10 to go with left in stage 2 to stay out and try to get some stage points. And so I feel like I made the most out of every situation that I was put in. I was patient. Only real mistake was that ended up actually causing the caution 36 to go, or maybe not causing it, but definitely the wreck happened into the wall, and then lots of chaos, but unfortunately did end up half spinning a little bit. But yeah, just committed the whole time. I realized we were not going to make it. None of us were going to make it if we didn't start saving from lap 1 of that final run. And so I decided to start saving from lap 1 of that final run, and I was clutching basically the last half of each straight for 35 laps.
You break through and you grab your first HTL Cup Series race win. You made your debut over 4 years ago, back in season 3. Did a part-time effort, did a couple races, stepped aside, came back, raced in the Challenger Series, won races there, in the championship conversation. on Tuesday nights. We'll see you again tomorrow in Nashville. How important was it to be able to break through and grab your first Cup Series win, knowing that you missed the beginning of the season? You jumped in partway through to jump into this 11 car. How important is it to you to be able to break through and win a race, especially here at the Brickyard, a place that means so much to so many drivers already?
Yeah, it's a beyond an honor to come here on like my 5th or 6th HTL Cup race on like my 10th or 11th, maybe a little bit more, but you know what I mean. Race here at HTL overall, and beat a lot of great drivers. Like Dustin was so fast today, has been so fast recently. In general, I was just like really impressed by got to restart behind Tucker and watch him just pull out like 4 or 5 tenths a lap at the start of those stages, and you just get a sense for the level of competition you have here at HTL. So honestly, I feel like my win was a little bit premature in terms of speed. I definitely feel like I'm more at home I feel like in the trucks I can win almost any given race. Doesn't mean I'm the fastest car. I think usually that's Susie, but I'm in the conversation, and so I think this time it was more strategy than pace. I think we had maybe top 10, maybe top 12 pace, but I'm really happy, really honored to have had the opportunity that your team has given me here at Arrowhead. Really honored that I get to race here at HTL and do a lot of great and fun racing and fun side-by-side racing with a really great crew, and really grateful for I'm just taking it all in.
In the series, obviously, HTL doesn't sleep. We move on. Nashville is the next challenge for both the Challenger and the Cup Series. The concrete jungle awaits in Music City. What's the feeling going into that race, trying to keep this momentum going, not just in one series, but in two?
Well, Josh has been so great all season. I think he's got 4 wins now, and so he's definitely been the truck to beat. And I just gotta, if I want to stay in the championship fight, I just have to show up tomorrow to Nashville, and if not dominate, at least win. So the bar's been set really high. I think we just got to try our best, got to put in the work, and hopefully we get the same kind of result today the same kind of result tomorrow we got today.
It's a good way to start out the race week with a race win here at the Brickyard. Before I let you go and let you obviously celebrate this race win and get ready for Nashville in 24 hours, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. A wild ride, a wild fuel save. It's the Miracle on Holman Boulevard for June Jimenez, race winner of a crown jewel. The Brickyard 400 belongs to the 11 team tonight.
Wow. Yeah, I just want to thank you again for giving me the opportunity to race here at to race here at Arrowhead and to represent the 11 team. Just started the middle of the season. I said I wanted to race Talladega, and you moved all you could to give me that seat as soon as possible and to start getting points for the team. And I think it's still going to be quite a long shot. Again, I'm not super sure I have that kind of pace at the other tracks, but we're going to try to push really hard to make it to the chase, and we'll see if we get there. I just want to thank Emily and the rest of the team for some really great setup work. The car just handled fantastically. Anything about the setup or anything that I couldn't get out of the setup was because of the driver and not because of the setup at all. So thank you especially to Emily for really great effort. Thank you as always to ABN for a fantastic broadcast, like a super professional, super exciting and insightful podcast, and not broadcast, but sorry, I'm just a little. I just didn't expect this to happen today. I'm a little bit overwhelmed, but very, very happy. Thankful to Blake for the paint scheme, for really doing the paint schemes for I think 20, 25, 30 of the drivers in the field tonight, and that's just really thankful for all the effort that all the HTL admins do to make sure the league runs well, and lucky to be here.
A phenomenal effort, a phenomenal drive for June Jimenez here at Indianapolis. Fuel saving to the extreme, and it works out a race win here for the Brickyard 400. June, we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the race win, soak it up, and we'll hopefully talk to you again in Nashville.
Thank you so much, Carmen.
A phenomenal job for June Jimenez, for Dustin Hall, for Emily Howe. A wild run to the finish. But it is the fuel-saving maestro, June Jimenez, who grabs victory here at Indianapolis. That'll do it from us here for the HTL Cup Series Brickyard 400. We'll be live again tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, for the HTL Nashville 300. For the HTL Challenger Series, 3 races to go in that campaign. Josh Susi, the points leader, trying to go and do what no one's done before, win both a Cup Series title and a Challenger Series title. On Thursday, we'll be live again in the Crown Athletics IndyCar Series from Kansas. We'll be live from Kansas on Sunday as well for the Winstall Cup Series. The chase for the Winstall Cup is on, and that continues Sunday on YouTube and Patreon. Next Monday, we'll be live from Nashville, 8 p.m. for the HTL Cup Series race in Music City. On behalf of everyone here for HTL and all of its partners, everyone here at ABN Studios, Henderson Graphics, Advanced, thank you all for supporting us. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Stay safe and stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow night from Music City. Until then, so long, everybody.